Good afternoon and welcome to our Sunday show, Instagram Live, with a whole bunch of amazing entrepreneurs from all around. And we're going to be dealing with fashion and modesty and entrepreneurship. And today I'm going to be speaking with a very special woman by the name of Abbey Wollin. Abbey is an amazing artist that she actually has her glass paintings that she transformed into an amazing business, a profitable business, and she came up with this amazing 30-day challenge. And today she's going to be sharing with us some of her amazing secrets. So I'd like to welcome Abbey to our show. Hi, Abbey.
Hi, how are you?
So first of all, thank you so much for joining our Instagram Live. When I heard your story about how you took your hobby and your talent and you turned it into Baruch Hashem, an amazing business, a profitable business, and you have this whole vision of how to do it, it really inspired me to come up and just ask you how did you start? How did you start and how did you take this 30-day challenge into where it is today? Tell us a little bit about the story.
So, story is very simple. I was a teacher, and I was a teacher for many years. I was 14 years. I was always in art, and I actually went to art school, but I couldn't continue in art school because I had just had my first baby, and it was really hard to, navigate, being a mom and paying bills, and art was not making me money. So, and I realized that I was actually a very, very good teacher. And because I did so many things hands-on, I was a kinesthetic teacher. And I realized that I really had something. So I had a child, I had my first child, and I couldn't go to art school anymore. So I became a teacher. But I wasn't an art Judaism studies teacher, believe it or not. So the school, started to improve myself slowly but surely, and I rose through the ranks to being the head of the middle school department. And then from there, I ended up going to teaching kindergarten, and then I moved to New York, and I ended up running my own preschool. And then after I ran my own preschool, I became a general studies teacher. And always, whenever I taught, it was always with arts and crafts and that in mind. It was all hands-on approaches when I taught. So then one summer I decided to learn how to paint on glass. I don't know, every summer I would give myself a new art thing to learn. And that summer I was going to learn how to paint on glass. I had accumulated so many pieces that I needed to get rid of it. So I went to the beach, they have these boardwalk sales. And so I sold my stuff on the boardwalk. And I sold out that day, and I realized, wow, I actually have something here. And so I started to do the shul, the shul boutiques. And then one day, one store came to me and said, have you ever thought of wholesaling? And I said, what's wholesaling? And she taught me the business of how to sell to stores. And so I was teaching, and I was also creating this side hustle of painting glass and selling it to stores. And I went from my dining room table to my basement. By the way, I was actually the painter for Ketcher Judaica, all those painted yarmulkes that you would see. And then that was me. I was doing that on my dining room table. My husband used to call it he would come downstairs at midnight, in the morning. I would work till 2 a.m. and wake up, and there was all these yarmulkes all over the couch, and you'd be the little elves were here,
Amazing.
That was the early days. And then once I had about 5 accounts, and I was really working really hard, I knew that I had to quit my job and really take the chance and make this into a business. So I went to EPI, and I got a loan. And I went into a studio space, and that quickly went from 5 stores to 90 stores all throughout the United States and Canada. Yeah, I blew up, but as I was going with my business and I was doing really, really well, I was bringing home almost $300,000.
In Hebrew, we have an expression. It's called Pam Shlishit Glida. It's when basically you encounter something for the third time, and then you owe the other person ice cream. So in this live, we're going to be speaking with Abbey Wollin from the 30-day business challenge. Abbey Wollin is an inspiration. She is super talented. She has a glass painting business, and she's sharing her story with us, how she took this hobby, which was over here, to this amazing, profitable, Baruch Hashem, an amazing, amazing business. And we're just in the middle of her story. So if you have any questions, feel free to chime in and to some ideas and some guidance from Abbey Wollin herself. You could just comment below. Hey.
Okay, let's hope this works now.
I hope so too. I hope so too. There's like, technology is great just because it's always there for us, but then like, you know, you can never fully depend on it 100%, you know?
Totally. Okay, so where should I, you want me to start all the way from the beginning, Anne? I don't know.
So basically what I wanted to, okay, so basically you're telling us how you were a teacher and you were juggling between, you know, having kids and work, and you became a homeroom teacher, and then you realized that you had this glass painting, and you took it one day to this sale on the boardwalk, and you saw that you had a gift and that was making you money.
Right.
So then what happened once you saw that really you had this gift? How did you take that gift that you saw had potential and you turned it into the real business that we know today?
So, I mean, there were a lot of different steps. But the first one is I took my stuff to market. So that means that I took my pieces and I brought them to the New York Now show, and then I took them to Atlanta International show. So those two shows brought a lot more eyeballs to my product. So people are always thinking, oh, social media. That's not necessarily true. You need to get your stuff in front of the actual buyers, because I was always a wholesaler first, not a retailer. So, so that was a big shift in my mindset. So, and also going to these shows is like terrifying. It's extremely scary because you're putting in at least $10,000 to $12,000 just in coming and setting up and investing in, like, you know, putting this together. It's very scary, and it's a lot of, there's an emotional piece as well. I don't think it's just the money. But every single time I did it, I didn't just double. In one way, I tripled my investment, so that was really great. And also, the more wholesale accounts that I got, the more accounts that I got, and the more interest I got. So it was.
When you're saying investment, you mean people were investing in your company, or you're saying people were placing orders, accounts?
Right. So the wholesalers were placing accounts. So, for example, and also not only that, like, I'll give you an example. So one of those times that I was there, Hot Look, which is a division of Nordstrom, came to me and they wanted to purchase my stuff. And so we went down, I call it going down the rabbit hole, seeing if this is the right thing to do. So Nordstrom came to me, they wanted to purchase, they wanted to put things on their website. It was like a whole thing. In the end, they wanted all my new stuff. They wanted all the new things, but it was a discount site. So, yeah. But it's a discount site. So would I take them on knowing that they were going to undercut the market and undercut my original stores that I had? Plus, they're not going to pay me for 60 to maybe 90 days. Even though Nordstrom is a great account, it was going to bankrupt me. I wasn't going to do it. And not only that, I was going to mess up over all of my accounts that I had taken years to cultivate and years to create a relationship with. So it's definitely not something that I wanted to do. So you have to learn how to.
Why would you ruin from if they place such a huge order? Why would you be taking away from all these other accounts?
Because if they wanted, for example, Hot Look in its own is a discount site, okay? So, for example, they would take something, and they didn't want to take last year's models. They wanted this year's model. So, let's say they take a bowl that's $60, and they put it on their site for $45. What's going to stop anyone from going and buying it for $45 when my other stores have it for $60? It's not fair to them.
Right.
And so I would never, ever, ever do that to my stores who I've cultivated a really strong relationship with. So it's kind of like, as you grow, you have to evaluate these, these opportunities that come your way, because not every opportunity is the right one.
Yeah. So it must have been like a little bit of a blow when you got that huge opportunity and you had to turn it down.
Yes and no, because I think that sometimes, like, saying no is very powerful, and saying no really changes you and turns you into the right direction that you want to go in. For me, I would say is that what was my big aha moment was in 2016 when I did my taxes and I realized that I was making $300,000 a year, but Abbey Wollin was only netting 20 of that. So I literally walked away with $20,000 and I said, this is enough. Like, I'm working 16-hour days. I never see my kids. And for what? Like, I could literally get a full-time job and make way more money. Like, what am I doing to myself? And so I committed for the next 90 days to fix it. And I think that it resonated with a lot of people because a lot of people feel the same way. We go into our businesses, we go into becoming our own boss so that we can become financially independent and also have a lot of and have more time with our family. But in the end, our work ends up becoming our full-time everything, and it becomes so all-consuming. Right. And we get on this hamster wheel and we never get off. Like, we're just running on it.
Right. So Abby, at what point how many years into the business were you when you actually opened your eyes and you saw that you're only taking away 20,000?
I'm embarrassed to say it took me a good 6 years.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. That's a while.
It's a very long time because I'm the kind of person that wants to prove people wrong. So my mentors were telling me that I was doing it wrong for years, but I was like, nope, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm right. And I was not right.
But one second, throughout these entire 6 years, your mentors were like, Abby, you have to see what's going on. And you knew the numbers, or you weren't so aware of the numbers, and only after 6 years you sat down and did some calculations.
So what they basically kept saying to me was that there was no way that I was going to grow this business if everything was always on me to paint. So, and I heard what they had to say. So I tried getting more painters, but the more painters I got, the more it still became physically on me to paint the roses because I didn't know how to say no to my stores. I didn't know how to physically say to them, no, I'm sorry, because I needed every single dollar that came in. Right. So how could I say no when I really needed the money? It was
like big orders of 30 pieces, 40 pieces, and then you'd be like, sorry, I'm so then you just do it yourself.
I'll tell you what my model was. Here's my model. My model was this. I would bring in crates of glass, okay? So I would say we're going to have bowls, pitchers, and cake domes, let's just say. I would bring in huge amounts of the stuff. It would come to my store, and then I would say to the stores, okay, guys, I'll paint you whatever you want me to paint, okay? And so then what would happen is that because everybody loved that, because when you go to China, you get what they have, right? You get what you get and you don't get upset. Well, with me, they were like, well, I don't want what the store down the block has. I want you to paint me something special. I want them to be purple roses, or I want them to be purple and gold, or whatever it is. By the time I would give them their stuff, okay, let's say they got their stuff by Thursday, they sold it all out on Sunday. By Monday, they had already placed a full new order, but I was backed up because I had so many other orders to go. And I felt like all I was doing all day was painting for these people who were not valuing my time. They didn't really care about me. I had people who were screaming at me and asked me why it would take so long. I said, do you want me to keep Shabbos? Do you want me to have that? And they'd always say to me, of course, but when can I get it?
You know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of every entrepreneur's greatest fear is success, and suddenly you see this crazy success and you get these orders and you're like, what am I doing? And sometimes when you're so into it and yes, when you're an artist, and I'm also I'm really into art and I love art. When you're an artist, you get so engulfed with what you're doing that you love doing it. And then to find yourself in a situation where you get too much stuff to do and a side of yourself is probably telling you, okay, do it, and the other side is 1 second here. If this is gonna go on, you're just gonna crash.
So I just said enough is enough. Enough is enough.
Did Abby Wollin go home and be like, 1 second, I'm gonna go sit down and I'm gonna find out what's happening here. Either I hire more people, or what did it for you that made you go home that day and do the math to make that transformation?
So I knew that there was stuff that was not going right. And so when I got my taxes back from 2016, that's when I was like, okay, hold up. I'm not making enough money. That was number one. So the first thing is that I realized that the front of my studio was like a paint your own place. So I decided immediately I was going to get rid of that and I was going to really focus on manufacturing because I couldn't do both. Because somebody would come in and they would want to have paint time with their kids. And literally they would spend $20 and I spent 2 hours with them. And that was just it was just ridiculous. Yeah. So I got rid of that. That was my first thing. And then I laid off a lot of employees. Some of them were great, some of them were not so great, but I had to lay off my employees. That was like another thing. And I kept the two that
you had these employees at the stage when they kept on like placing these huge orders, or was this after?
no, when they were still placing the huge orders, I had up to 6 employees. So, and some of them were some of those employees were great. Meaning they would prep the pieces, they would start the pieces for me, they would clean the pieces for me, they would ship the pieces for me. I had a full-time secretary. It was just too much. Like we were just spinning our wheels, and it was like, okay, everyone stop. I laid off some of them. I kept 2 painters. That was it. And then I said, okay, instead of you telling me what to do, I'm going to tell you what's available. And I started to really listen to my mentors, and all of a sudden my profits just started to go up. But I think it was not just that. It was also the fact that I started to grow real community on Instagram, and Instagram became, those people wanted to know like how I was doing it, and they were invested in my story of changing and growing that business. So they wanted to see, was I going to be successful? And then at the end of the 90 days, I literally opened up my books for people. Like I showed them financially how well I did. And I think that was like very powerful for them. And, you know, because for example, February was a horrible month. Like I actually lost money in February. And if I had quit in February, I would have felt like a failure. But my March month made me triple the sales. So if I hadn't done the March, it wouldn't have evened it out. And I ended up becoming 10% more profitable throughout the whole experience.
Like through February, you saw it going down, but then after that in March, like if you wouldn't have gone through the downs, you wouldn't have reached the ups.
Correct. You would never have reached the ups. So January was fantastic. February, I made a very big mistake with one of my, like it came out in what do you call it? In sampling, the colors were fine. But when I went to production, the colors were totally off, and I lost about 80 pieces. So because of that, I lost time, and I also lost money. So
okay, one second. Something is missing. So basically, the point that I got to in my mind is basically when these stores are placing these huge orders and you're seeing that you're doing all the painting yourself. So what switch did you make that you would be able to really manage the business?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So what I ended up doing was, instead of doing roses and doing other things, I went and I strongly created, like I went, like I did, it's called like Choose Your Own Adventure.
Okay.
So I went and I tried to figure out, I looked at what was current, what was going on in the market, what I could stand out with. And I realized that marble was coming back, and marble was really big and really in, but nobody had ever painted marble on glass. So I thought to myself, could I get that marble effect on glass that will stick?
And before the marble effect, what was it before?
Oh, it was like roses and stripes and like just different designs.
I see. Okay.
So I became, instead of saying I can do everything, I said, no, this is what I'm really good at and no one else can do, and I can do it. And so I ended up positioning myself as an expert in my field. Because you can put paint on glass, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to stick. Glass is probably the hardest medium to get anything to stick to. It's just impossible. It took me a long time. It took me about 2 to 3 weeks to figure out and formulate my actual proprietary blend. So
okay, so basically, so you found this amazing thing that no one really specialized in, and you decided to specialize in this marble.
correct.
But what other move did you make that you would be able to have time to make all these huge orders that you were getting in?
Well, I simplified the process. So now what I did was I said, okay, I'm only bringing in like 400 bowls. I said, I'm only doing bowls. That's it. 400 bowls. I said, okay, if I charge $60 per bowl, this is my profit. So I know exactly what I'm going to make off of it. Or if I sell them for $30 wholesale, I'm going to sell, let's say out of the 500, I'll sell 400 wholesale and 100 retail. So I knew exactly how much money I was going to make at the end of the day. I knew exactly what my variable costs were, which is like, you know, the paint, the glaze, my employees, even my shipping costs. Like I knew all of my variable costs. I had my fixed costs. So I knew exactly what Abbey Wollin was going to make at the end of doing this. And at the end, I actually walked away with money as opposed to not having money at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I was able to actually understand what I was going to make. Because before it was just like, okay, I'll just paint whatever you want and I'll get whatever I want. I never asked myself, how much money does Abbey Wollin really need to make every month? And then go for that number. I never asked myself that.
Right. So I guess just by kind of going into it more from a macro into micro, you made it more profitable because you were more on top of things and you knew what you were going into and you knew how many you needed to sell to what stores. Um, but what I want to know is that this whole simplifying process, like let's say a store told you that they wanted 30, well, one in China, one in Canada, and one in London. So like because you knew everything you had in stock and because you knew everything that was prepared, then it was just easier for you. Like, is that what saved you the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything was just sitting on the shelf. So I knew exactly how long it would take us to do production. And then
Mm-hmm.
we just sold it and sent it. And then we were sold out and that was it, done. I
I see.
was finished. You don't understand. I used to be working to the last second before Pesach. This year, last year, I was finished a week before. People saw me in the grocery store. They're like, "Why aren't you working?" And I was like, "It was the best. It was the best." I'm like, "I totally fixed my business. I'm so happy. It's so great." And so then what ended up happening was that people were so excited about what I did. They were curious as to if what I did for myself could help them. And so that's what I started doing. I started this 90-day business challenge helping, or 30-day business challenge, helping them grow their businesses. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned and the most important thing that I teach people is that it all goes back to being intentional. You have to be intentional. You do. You just have to be intentional. You have to understand what you're doing and where you're doing it. Because I think that we just go, like we're on this road without brakes and no one's looking from their sides. They're just on their path. And when
Yeah.
you sit down and you actually write what you need to do and you understand, I mean, do you know how many people I mentor? The first question, Chana, that I ask them is, how much money do you need to make a month? Okay.
And I
You know what
and I,
they say to me? You know what
yeah,
they say?
that
I
they,
don't know. I don't know. Because they're embarrassed to say that they want to be successful, or they just really don't know. And then, so the next thing I ask them is how much money are you in deficit a month? Because they definitely know that. They know
right,
how much they need to make, right? But they're
right.
embarrassed to say it. They're
So let
embarrassed
me
to say it.
Okay, fine. So basically, let me ask you, like, let's say they know how much money their deficit this month. How much more do you think most of them would want to be making? Like, let's say for a modern woman, like a modern Jewish woman who has like, I don't know, a few kids, like, do these ladies have like an amount that like most of them want to accomplish? Because like
I think that
obviously you can ask someone and you can go with like the Donald Trump approach where it's like the more money the better, you know? Like I was just reading one of his books about like think big and like they have this whole pause like how much money do you want to make? And he's always like I want to make the most money, but like I don't know, practically thinking like do you have ladies who are like fair, they know what they want and you give them like a program of how to actually get to that?
so. That's what I do. So right now I mentor women, but I want to just answer your question first. I think that people are like, wait, what do you mean? I want to make all the money in the world. I'm like, but that's not practical either because you need to start at a number. And then you have to reach that number and then you can grow that number or double that or triple that. But you first have to come up with a number. And for some reason, women in general are embarrassed to say, A, that they want to be successful or that they are willing to um, they're I don't or that they make money. I don't know what it is, but it is definitely psychological. Like if I said to you, I need my family needs to function. I'm just throwing out a number here, but if I said to you, in order for my family to function, I need $15,000 in the bank, okay, every month, okay, between me and my husband, I need $15,000, right? To somebody else, that just might be 8, and to another person, that might be just 4. But
Right.
everybody has that number, and no one is different. No, I mean, no one is better than or less than because of the amount of money that they need to bring in. It's just that they have to be realistic about the money that they have to bring in, and don't say that you want to bring in the more the merrier because you haven't even gotten to 1,000 a month. So, like, let's just
Right.
try to get to that small goal first.
Right. So basically the technique that you did by simplifying the process and really by calculating in advance how much your materials are worth, how much you need to sell and having everything prepared in advance in one bowl that was a really best-selling bowl and in one style that was really the best-selling style. Do you think how would you say that you can adapt that model for let's say someone who's selling something different, like I don't know, um, like someone from a different field. Let's
So
say
for
the
example, like for somebody who's, let's say, a cupcakes, right? They're a baker. So the first thing is that you want to be known for something very specific, because that's like your big thing that people come to you. So it could be ingredients. It could be that you only do, gluten free. It could be that you only do, allergies, but it might not be. It might just be that you are the Simcha cookie lady. You know what I'm saying? Like, you make the Simcha cookies. Whatever it is, you need to figure out where it is that you can shine in your demographic and in your specific field. For you, right? You should just know, I actually wear your clothes, right? Like, I got it at a store.
actually
And
remember you got it for me. That's why I'm like, when was this?
I didn't get it from you. I got it from a store. So I was actually in From Head to Hose in Brooklyn.
Amazing! I love you.
I love Rachel. I love Rachel. So I was in there From Head to Hose, and I bought a set for me and my daughter. And I love it. We wear it. We actually were in LA together. I have a picture. I have to send you the picture. It's a great picture of me and my daughter wearing them. I love it. And I actually want more, by the way. I just putting it out there. I will totally take more and do photo shoots for you and wear it all day long, because
any day. We have a collection coming in too.
Okay. So for me, I'll tell you this, like, my biggest thing is that, and I want to do like a whole live on this only, but when I started talking about intentionality and understanding, like, people always say to me, like, it's your morning routine, it's your morning routine. And I started waking up early and going out and exercising, and I really did have a lot more energy, and I was really able to do much better. And for so many years, I was the artist with like the night owl gene. And so the thing though is that it's not really the morning routine, it's really your night routine. So it really is the way you set up your night so that you can be successful in the morning. It's not about the morning, it's about the night. And so I really want to do a live one day about what I do at night to get me set up for my morning. I have to do it one day.
This is going to lead me to the next question. Okay, fine. So this 30-day business challenge, I understand it's something that you kind of adopted to yourself, like a routine, a daily routine that you do throughout the day, also in the morning, also at night, but also a eating plan where you prep in the beginning. So I want you.
Yes, it's about being intentional in all aspects of your life.
Okay, fine. So with all the honesty and everything, can you please walk me through a typical day from your morning until your evening with the food prep?
Okay, so my food prep is always done on Sunday, which I have not been able to do in the last 2 Sundays because I've been so busy. And right now I'm on live with you, then I'm running to Muncie, then I'm coming home, I'm going to Home Depot, not Home Depot, I'm sorry, Costco, and then I'm going to do my Sunday prep if I have a chance. Okay, but basically what Sunday prep is I prepare everything. First of all, I have severe allergies. You can see, like, I have like some marks on my face, whatever, but I have severe allergies. And if I don't prepare my food prior, I will eat everything and anything that's garbage that I can eat. Now, garbage, I mean, that you could eat is totally fine, but I can't have it. So like potato chips or, just anything with soy, and that's packaged food. Everything that's packaged is basically soy. So it has soy in it or soy lecithin. So I can't have it. I can have eggs, soy, dairy, nuts, any type of fruit, okay, that grows on a tree with like a pit. I can't have it. So I'm very limited to what I can eat. So I prepare my food in advance. Okay. So how do I do that? I make my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinners are like, so for example, like, let's say we're making salmon for that week. I'll put it in the sauce, and I'll, like, what is it called? Marinate. I'll marinate it. In the morning. So like, for example, let's say Tuesday morning, I'm going to make chili. So the meat is already sitting in my refrigerator, and I'll just put it together in a crock pot before I leave to go to work, so that when I come home, it's ready to go. But I'm intentional where I write it all down. Like Wednesday night of the prior week, I write down my menu. Thursday, I'm shopping for it. Thursday, Friday, I'm shopping for it. Saturday night and Sunday, I'm prepping it. And then I have food from Monday through Thursday, believe it or not. And it works. It really works. My kids also, by the way, I believe very strongly in allowing your children to be very self-sufficient. They literally go into the refrigerator, they get their food, they prepare their lunches for school. I don't do any of it. They just go to the fridge, they grab the stuff, and they leave. It's about just setting your week up for success.
Do you just write down, like, in general what the food is going to be, or do you actually take containers and you put each, like, the breakfast and the lunch in the container so that they just go to the fridge?
Right, so everything's in containers. So, for example, I prepare all my fruit for the week. So I'll prepare them into little containers and my kids just pull it out. And the containers are airtight, so they are fresh all week. Like literally, people ask me all the time, how does it happen? I don't know, but it just does. So the fruit is set up. I have all my vegetables set up. I have little containers of hummus that they can take with it. I have, I make salads that are ready to go. You can just grab the lettuce. Then I have little vegetables that you can add to your lettuce. I have meat cut off, like no joke. I have roasted vegetables that are cut, like that have been roasted and put. Sorry, my daughter is sitting right here.
You're so pretty. Wait, what's her name?
What's your name? Her name is Mimi. Miira.
I love that name. Oh,
She wanted to sit with me. She just sat down. So what was I going to say to you? So everything is just ready to go. So you could just grab it and like really run. I mean, the salad dressings like literally in the little containers to go.
So like Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, like you'll open up Abbey Wallin's fridge and you'll see like 50 little containers in there with like all these little packages of like salad dressing.
Yeah, and you know how many people have told me they're like, I started following you only because of your Sunday prep. I'm like, not because of my art, but because of my Sunday prep.
You know something, Abby? I also do a Sunday prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to start like a Sunday food prep club.
I'd love to see your refrigerator. What do you prep?
I know. Actually, I'm also planning on doing right after this live, like running to the supermarket and doing it. What do I prep? So basically every week I kind of look at my diet and how I'm feeling, and like I come up with like a different grain or like a different soup. I love during the winters I make really amazing soups. Last week I tried like a bean soup with like pumpkin and like some orange vegetables, and
Yeah.
I might try like a tomato soup. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of soups. And then normally I plan like also I do breakfast, lunch. Tons of vegetables, where I just like munch. I take everywhere I go, I take vegetables with me. And then for dinner, I'll normally have like a soup or like, or like rice, something with a soup.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely feel like when your food is managed, it's a huge thing. Like you'll need every day. And also I wanted to say, like, so you're saying that you believe it's the night that really defines the next day. So please share, like, what are your tips for like the night before?
Okay, so the first thing is that I think what we women do at night is we can't fall asleep because we have so many thoughts going in our head, and it's very hard because we're always thinking about what we're doing tomorrow. So I'm a big planner person. I think planners are the best thing. It's like the knees bees. And so I have a planner and I write down every single thing that I need to do the next day in that planner.
Yeah.
I just brain dump it all. This is what needs to get done tomorrow. Then after that, I try to do that around 8:30. Okay, so I write it all out. Then I have a gratitude journal where I write down like 5 things that I'm really grateful for that day.
Yeah.
And then I also write my goals for the day, or not even my goals, but like what I'm trying to achieve. And I don't write them as if I've done them. I mean, not that I like, let's say one of my goals is I want to have, like right now I'm doing a email marketing class. Okay. I have an email marketing class that I'm going to be teaching on Wednesday night. So I wanted a certain sign up. So I want 100 signups for this class.
Yeah.
So I had 100 signups for my, like 100 people signed up for my class because I want to focus on that like feeling of 100 people signed up. Like that's an amazing feeling. Or let's say, for example, a goal that I was working on is I, like when we moved my studio I closed my studio when I built a big warehouse down in Lakewood, right? So that was a really, really overwhelming time in my life. I kept writing and I kept thinking about the end result because that's what kept pushing me through the hard times. So like I would say, I'm standing in my warehouse and we've just set it up, like those types of things. Like they're very self-affirming and very powerful. So I write those whole things down if I have time. If not, then I don't. But I try to do my gratitude and my goals. I try to do them at least once or twice a week because that's really important to me. And then what I do is I post to social media, like my 9 o'clock post. I post, and then after that I put my phone away. Like I put it on do not disturb. It's off for the night, and I read. Believe it or not, I read for a half an hour. And then I'm able to fall asleep better because I've brain dumped. Everything that I need to do tomorrow is gone. I've thought about like all the things that I'm grateful for. And then I'm ready to just read and go to sleep.
Okay, so one second. So comes 8:30, you're sitting by your desk. You're basically making
No desk. I'm sitting in my chair. This green chair. I sit in my chair.
Oh, that's comfortable. Okay, so Abby's sitting by her comfortable green chair, making a list of everything she needs to accomplish the day later with goals. And the goals are as if you already accomplished them to make them vivid, right? So you're like
Right.
sitting after I already had 100 signups to this amazing new program I'm starting. And then after that, you're writing down in your gratitude journal the stuff that you're grateful for. And then after that, you read your books and you're good to go.
Yeah, I go to sleep. And I'm able to fall asleep much faster. I think technology really keeps us up. Like you could sit on your phone for hours. It's a bad habit. It's about destroying those bad habits.
Don't you ever find it tempting right after you make a post to like see the responses and like how many likes you got?
So I'll do it for like a half an hour. Like I'll sit around because the minute people start commenting, the algorithm works when you start commenting right back. Like if somebody commented, you should answer back like within like a few minutes, and then like after like that, I put it away. Like I'm not interested. I'm over it. Personally, I personally think Instagram is going away. In my opinion, I think in a year there's going to be a totally new platform, and people are going to get bored of Instagram. And if you don't convert your followers to email, you're going to lose them. Nobody listens to me, but that is my prediction.
Interesting. So, what has been one of your amazing techniques to convert your followers on Instagram into email?
You have to give them something for free.
People like free things.
Well, for me, it was the business challenge. I offered the business challenge and I got signups. Right. For you, it could be a discount or, something like if they sign up for your emails, it's buy one, get one, or it's, or you could, I don't know, maybe it's a special free gift, but you have to give in order to receive. That I know.
It's true. So, okay. So basically, I was almost going to do your 30-day, this is me confessing to you. I was going to do your 30-day business challenge and I was printing everything out. And like, I printed out like, I don't know how many pages it was, like 100 pages, and I was all ready and all excited. And for some reason, like, I grew up learning really in Hebrew. So I always got instructions in Hebrew. And then when it came to like getting everything in English, I don't know why, I just got a little bit confused with like how it actually works. So can you summarize, please, in let's say 1 minute, the 30-day business challenge in like the entire booklet? Like, what is it about and how do you work with it?
The 30-day business challenge, each time is different though. But basically what it is it looks at your business in 4 different ways. Okay. So the way I look at business is that like when you are making your own business, it's as if you're giving birth to another child, correct? Do you feel that? Your business is a child. Okay. What is the first thing? I've never told this out loud. I've only told this like to my people who pay for this. Okay. So here you go. I'm telling you a secret. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. When a baby is in utero, right? Like a baby is just formed, right? What is the first organ that's produced or made? What is the first one? It is the heart. It is not the brain. It is the heart. The heart is the first organ to be made. The heart of your business is your branding. It's your mission. It's everything of why you are in business to begin with. That's your branding. That's the first thing we talk about. The next thing we talk about is the next organ that's made, which is the brain. From the brain comes the entire business. You cannot have a business without the brain. It will not function. It will not stand up on its own. Why? Because from the brain comes the structure of your body, right? Your accounting is your skeleton. Your cash flow is the blood, right? And then also the brain tells you what's it going to look like. So the marketing strategy also comes from the brain, right? Yeah. So after we've really come up with what is the business plan, and we really talk about cash flow and understanding profit and loss and all of that stuff, we then talk about marketing. And there's 4 P's of marketing, which is what makes your body beautiful, right? That's marketing. So what makes your body beautiful? There's 4 P's. There's if I can remember them. There's price, place, promotions, and product. So then we start talking about those 4 things. And then after that, just because your body has all the things that it needs to walk around and be a body, that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to sit in its room and cry for hours because it's got depression. So we definitely have to talk about its mental health.
Right.
So that is the last, we talk really about determination and grit. So there's 4 classes in the business challenge, and that's really what we talk about.
So the business challenge is really about focusing on the 4 P's, getting down to what is your heart, what is your brain, and how you make practical steps to really make it come.
And before we even do that, I have you guys fill out I guess it's a questionnaire of what's wrong in your business, like where do you need the most help. Mm-hmm. I ask you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, to go through your business and give yourself a score.
Yeah. I remember going through those first steps. Do you offer the food prep as part of the program?
No, food prep is just like sprinkles and a cherry on top. Maybe one day I'll have a food prep.
I think you should do that. I think you should totally do that, just because, well, like, I'm a huge advocate of health and nutrition and fitness, but I really do think, just like you said, it's not just about having an idea or having a heart. You need to have a healthy body. And when you have a healthy body, everything else is functioning better. Your motivation is better. You're feeling better about yourself. You're waking up in the morning, like, excited to eat your healthy breakfast and then do your healthy Abbey Wollin 30-day business challenge. You know, like,
you know what's so funny?
It's
so funny is that when I talk about marketing, right? Like, for example, like when it comes to Instagram, I have the food model. Like, it's the 4 fruits, right? So you have a banana, an orange, an apple, and a kiwi, right? Like, what are these? Like, what? Like, so I always use, or like for email marketing, I said, like, what is a hamburger? What does a hamburger and email marketing have in common? So, like, if you want to know what they have in common, go check out my latest, go look at my stories, because I tell you what it has in common. But so when I talk about Instagram and I talk about, marketing yourself. So, there's 4 different types of posts that you could do. So there's the apple, which is like education, right? You can teach people things about your business, your product or service. The other one is a banana, right? You can peel down the layers and see behind the scenes of your company. The other one is you want to grow a community, right? Just think about like an orange. There's all those little segments within that orange, right? And the last one is you want to inspire people. The kiwi is so small, but guess what? When you open up that kiwi, it's very cool inside. And so you can really inspire these fruits to be really amazing, right? Why do you want to be just an apple? Be a kiwi. So, so I teach through food.
If you had to be one of those fruits, Abby, with all honesty, what would it be?
Oh, definitely the kiwi, but I can't eat it. I'm allergic to it.
I agree. I definitely see a kiwi right over here.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Well, this was really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, it really was. And I just wanted to ask a few last questions just before we finish off. So basically, since Chana is really about modest sportswear and modesty, I wanted to ask you, Abby, how do you define modesty?
So to me, modesty is not about the clothes that you wear. You can be like wearing pants, uncovered hair, all that stuff, and be the most modest person, in my opinion. Modesty to me is about the way you act. Are you humble? Are you you're not a show off? You just who you are as a person, and you have like this refinedness. Is that even a word? That to me is modesty. You know, not causing drama, just being a nice human being.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And how do you incorporate your exercise into your life in a way that you're not just doing exercise, but it's like, do you see a connection between your exercise and your role as a religious Jewish woman?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's great too.
I exercise because it gives me mental health. Like, it clears my air, like clears my brain, and I'm able to be a better mother, a better entrepreneur, a better human being. So for me, I don't think it's necessarily for me. Like, I don't think Judaism and exercise go hand in hand for me.
Okay, that's totally legitimate. You know, everyone needs to see like how it comes into their own life. and how can they really use it to improve their own life. And if there was one tip that you would give to the ladies who aren't as enthusiastic and aren't feeling as Kiwi-like as you may feel, like what kind of tip would you give them to really get them back up and like driven to really make these moves on their own dreams?
Well, that's a very hard question. I think that in a lot of ways, sometimes when you can't get up off the couch yourself because things are going wrong, you need to find somebody who can help you. So I think having a friend or a confidant or a mentor or a business coach, somebody who you can be like, who can act as your confidant is the best way to move forward. Yeah. Because sometimes we just need to get out of our brain to see, where we're going.
Right.
Like it's happened to me a few times where like I'll just be stuck, and once I start talking it over to somebody, like all of a sudden like it just becomes like, I don't know, it all just like opens up and I'm like, oh my God, just because I was talking about it, it like re-inspired me and it made me like excited, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure. In Judaism, they say a selech harav. You need to have like a mentor, someone that you can look up to, someone that can give you guidance. And I think it's with everything, with food, with life, business, and everything. Well, this has been such a pleasure. I feel like my brain cells just expanded. I learned so much from this session with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And I just wanted to say that whoever's watching this and whoever is one of your followers, Abbey, I'm giving you a beautiful 10% discount on anything that you'd like to get off of Chana.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yes, you can go into chanabana.com. It's valid for 1 month. It's Abbey 10, Abbey 10, and we're actually getting a whole new selection of skirts in beautiful new colors within the next month or so. So you can kind of tune in. And thank you again so much.
My pleasure. Thank you again for having me this morning. And
pleasure.
Enjoy Mavach Laron.
Thank you. I am. I'm just like watching the sunset here, romantic sunset.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I want to get there now. I want to be there.
Now when you come, we'll meet up for a coffee.
Definitely. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Okay, goodbye.